Hey everyone, it is officially fall.
Yay!
We have finally made it. The temperatures are starting to cool off. The mornings are super nice. And we've got a few things on the to-do list this week, but we're gonna start with the boxes behind us.
Yes, so for a long time, we have been wanting to use our patio space as sort of a dining room. We had the concrete poured this year, which, I mean, was a huge step for us. And I feel like we got all of our patio furniture, the casual like sofa, and we've been enjoying that for a few years now. But I think the perfect way to enjoy the fall weather is dining outside. And we've wanted a dining table for a long time. We just couldn't really decide which one to get. We wanted stone. We weren't sure what the look should be. But I think we finally found the perfect style for us. We found that from Article, and that's all the boxes behind us. So I think what we're gonna do today is put that together and show you what it looks like.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh,
What is it?
it was bird poop and I put my finger in it.
Ew, why'd you do that?
Why? I didn't know it was bird poop.
All
You're
right.
back.
Right there. So that way you have more room
I
coming
like
down.
this.
Yeah, same.
I think it looks cool. I mean, would it have been nicer if it was like a wood tone to be different than the concrete? Sure, but the chairs are gonna make up for that.
Hopefully. Hopefully they don't bring out the green in the warm. Either way, we'll probably get a stone one in a few years, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's do the chairs. They're just stacked in here, so
Oh.
it's super easy.
Beautiful.
I love that.
It's the perfect color match.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Scissors?
Look, it's like magic.
Gorgeous.
Here you go. One more for this side. Oh,
Yeah, you can pull it
Oh,
out of
that's
the
smart.
bottom. You just have to cut the tops.
there you go. Nice.
Beautiful.
All right, guys, so to prepare for our fall overseeding, all I'm really gonna do is mow the grass as short as I can. For us, we have a Toro push mower, so that means I think we're gonna get about 2 inches above the ground, which I think should be enough. It usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the grass seed to take hold, put on roots, and enough growth so that we can actually mow it and not rip it out of the ground. But it's still kind of warm here in the south, so that means 3 to 4 weeks of growth for the grass that is already here. So I'm gonna try to fight that bushy yard off that we'll have in about 4 weeks and mow as low as I can right now. And then we'll also give the opportunity for as much grass seed as we can to sort of penetrate the ground in between all of the existing grass. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so the back garden is complete. Let me show you. Okay, So from this angle, it looks like we messed up. It looks like it's too short, but this is actually perfect. It's about 1 inch long, maybe 1.5 inches. And what this does is exposes all of the surface of the ground that we can from the bushy grass. That way the seed can really get down in there and penetrate the dirt and come up between the already existing grass. Now, I understand the grass looks a little yellow right now, and that's because we did what we call scalped it. So it probably burned the tips a little bit, so it's not looking so hot. But anytime you're overseeding, it's gonna get ugly before it gets really beautiful. Now on to the rest of the yard. Now, the other thing to consider is if your aerator or your overseeder can't get underneath the canopy of the trees that you have, you're definitely not going to get overseeded in those areas, and you'll notice a big difference between the grass in the rest of the yard versus the grass underneath those tree canopies. What I just did was take a few of the bottom branches off of our Vitex tree. Nothing's going to hurt that tree. It's going to grow back every single time and get bushy every year. And of course, we have to keep the shape of it in check. So taking those bottom branches off is only going to expose underneath to the sun more and let it grow healthier. Let's get the rest of the yard done. All right, so we're done with our prep work. The only thing left to do is aerate and seed. All right, what do you think?
I love it. Wow.
I think it's so nice.
It's so nice to actually have somewhere to come out here and sit now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to come out here and work and stuff, like not just have dinner, you know?
Yeah, especially now that it's fall, I feel like this is the perfect table to have out here for the evenings.
Yeah.
We're gonna string some more lights out here.
Oh, we are.
More projects to come.
Okay.
I feel like we've been wanting one of these for so long that this is like the cherry on top of all of our hard work for the summer.
Yeah.
Now we get to really enjoy it in the cool months, since we can't really enjoy it in the summer months.
Heck no. Like, this is going to be a fall and early spring type of situation.
Yeah, these gazing balls would light on fire.
I mean, yeah. Unless we carve a hole in the middle and put an umbrella. But even with that, I feel like it would be hot.
Yeah, I think that's smart, though. I think that's something to consider maybe about our yard and just our garden in general, is how much shade we don't have now, so we can plan for that when we're entertaining out here, when we're planning for dinners. But I think it's perfect for the space, and I'm really happy for it. It feels like London to me. It feels like we're continuing this idea that our garden is inspired by like Chelsea and everything we saw in London.
I could see that, yeah.
The color of the chairs really feels like that.
Honestly, like, there could not have been a more perfect color. Like, obviously we chose this color, but when you pulled the first chair out of the box, I was like, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, and I feel like also we were very torn about the table itself and what material this should be. I was considering stone. Stone would obviously hold up in any weather forever and ever, and that's something to consider. But I also thought that it was going to feel heavy, and it was going to maybe take away from the garden space itself.
And so, with the concrete too, like, I think it might just have felt like more of the same.
Yeah, I agree. And so I think that what we went with ends up maybe blending into the garden in a really nice way. It complements and just as sort of a glimmer, but it doesn't really take away from the garden. And I think that's always our goal, is just to make it look pretty and like our style, but also not take away too much.
I do feel like when you look out now, like, you see obviously there's a table there, but the colors and everything just kind of blend with the garden, and it adds a little something rather than being like such a crazy stark contrast.
Yeah, I know that you were not so sure about the mirror balls.
Yeah, I wasn't, but they're cool.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
I think it's nice because it adds just this slight hint of whimsy and maybe like something modern, and also just something that sparkles. I think that having something that sparkles in any space is really nice, and if you can fit that into the garden somehow, that's a cool thing too.
Yeah. Since we have left you guys, the grass that we had overseeded has started to come up, which is very exciting because the lawn was looking really rough. And I mean, hopefully in a few weeks, like, you can mow it.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are gonna jump to our last project for the week, which is potting up our violas that we started from seed earlier this year. Let's get to it. All right, so here is our first tray of violas. Now, if you remember, we planted these on July 24th. So it has been a little bit over 2 months that these have been in their seed starting trays. And this one has actually rooted to the wicking mat.
Oh my gosh.
Which means the roots are insane.
Yeah.
So these need to come out of here.
I've never really seen them grow like this before. Or maybe it's just the blooms I've never seen bloom like this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So we have been fertilizing once a week with the Espoma Grow fertilizer. I start out with half strength, and I do that for 2 weeks. So every Friday, just go in and do my fertilizer. And then after the 2 weeks of half strength, I bump up to full strength. And clearly it worked.
Yeah. I mean, we just have so much growth this year. They're bigger, I think, in this container than I think they ever have been. Like you said, they're blooming way more. So I don't know if that is on account of the fertilizer or just that they're super happy. Who knows?
I think I was also super attentive this year, just like making sure the reservoir was filled up with enough water.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll see. I think it also depends on the variety too.
Yeah.
There's some that, like, the foliage is not as big, but I will say all the foliage looks really healthy. So what we are going to do today, if you have not been with us on a seed starting journey before, is when we plant our seeds, we overseed, as everyone does, but then we do not thin once the seeds come up. So normally what you would do is you would come in and you would find the strongest seedling and you would remove the other seedlings in each cell. We don't do that because it feels a little wasteful.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts to go in and cut the seedlings back. Now, there are certain varieties of things that maybe you'd want to do.
Yeah.
But for something like violas, we would just prefer to get double our crop. So what we're going to do today is we're going to pop all of these violas out of their cell, and we're going to break apart the 2 plants. Some of them might have even 3 plants.
Yep.
And then we are going to pot them up in these larger, I think these are the 1 inch or maybe 1.5 inch containers from Bootstrap Farmer. And then we're going to let them grow on for another couple of weeks before we plant them out.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy process, and you just kind of have to trust yourself. Every now and then we'll get some after that look a little sketch, but usually within a couple of days they kind of bounce back. And you know, even if we lose a couple from this process, we're still going to have more than if we had just thinned from the beginning.
Yeah. One thing just about some of the tools that we're using. So Tyler mentioned the Bootstrap Farmer containers. Since we started using those, I think that we've noticed this is a lot easier. Just
Definitely.
because it's so organized. They're the perfect size, I think, for popping most of everything, all the seed varieties that we grow, spring and fall, up to these. And then they also come with these great trays that have separators in them, so they're not falling all over each other. They're really snug in their little zone. And then there's trays that don't have the separators that you put those trays in. So this has been really helpful for us. They're also color coded, which sometimes works depending on how many of each variety.
It really
we're growing.
satisfies my OCD. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. So the Bootstrap Farmer, all their products have been really great for us. And then we have a large tray that I think you guys have seen us use before, that we can link below. And that way we put all of our dirt in there, all of our soil, and we pre-moisten it, and then we can start potting up from there. So I think that's it.
Okay, so why don't let's rearrange the table a little bit so that we can get started. So I can be the separator if you want to be the planter.
Yep.
So I'll put these on the ground. We'll just rearrange. Get your little potting tray.
Yep.
All right. Gloves.
Yep.
All right, and then Let's start with orange.
Okay.
Since those are all together in one color.
Perfect. So before we do that, we're going to prepare our soil. And one thing I think that we are doing this year, first of all, we're using Espoma organic potting soil. You guys know that we love all Espoma products. Honestly, I think that using the Espoma seed starting mix has really changed the game for us as far as like just growing seeds, even in the small cells.
It's much loftier.
Yeah.
Like even with some other brands of seed starting mix, I feel like it's like clumpy.
Yeah.
And this one was just really easy to work with.
Which probably makes a difference for how much you have to maintain and sort of like make sure that you're not getting a lot of like algae growth or
Right, yeah.
on top of it. So I think it's really just been a game changer for us. But one thing that I think that we were talking and we're going to do a little bit differently this year when we pot these up is to go ahead and add some Biotone starter fertilizer into the soil and just mix it up. And I think that maybe will give them the extra boost that they need. We're going to start planting these up probably in a few weeks. And so hopefully they put on some root growth before we do that. So that'll just help them get that extra bump that they probably need.
And kind of like get reestablished because we are going to be breaking some of the roots inevitably as we're separating.
Yep.
So this is going to be a little experiment. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so let me get the soil. Okay.
Okay.
That's probably good. What do we say? We just put some of this right on top?
Yeah, and we'll just mix it in. Don't be shy about it.
I think that's good, right?
Yeah.
Smells like success.
Nice and stinky.
All right, so I'm just gonna really mix this up inside of this, and you can see the Biotone right on top. And get it all mixed in. Oh, it's such good soil. Look how like lofty.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready to go. Okay, so last year I think what we decided really worked was for me to put dirt in a bunch of these,
Yeah.
and just have them in here ready to go. I'm gonna start with the orange, and I'm just gonna set these right here.
So we're going to do a couple of these.
Yeah.
And then we're going to speed this process up because we got a lot to do.
Yeah.
So you're going to fill that up with soil.
Yep.
I'm going to take this little seedling out. We're going to see what we got here in terms of roots. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's so nice.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to take this and just kind of separate them. This one was pretty easy, actually. And now we have 2 plants.
Nice. And you can see, so the length of this is like the length of my finger pretty much. And so what I like to do is take my finger and stick down in the pot and sort of make a hole for this to sit down in. Well, if it wouldn't have gone back. And that way you don't have to like shove it in. You really just set it down in there. And then you can take some extra soil and just pile it right around the top. Look at there.
Perfect.
Perfect. One done.
There you go. All right, now we've got about 250 more of these to do. So here we go. Okay, we got so excited that I forgot to tell you which varieties these are. So the light yellow that you're seeing here is called Sorbet Lemon Chiffon. And then the golden yellow is Sorbet Honeybee, which I thought was gonna be wrong. It started blooming and before the bloom opens, it's like purple. And I was so upset because this is my favorite one from last year. And then of course they opened and they were all perfect. So some of the trays we split. Some of them, it's a full tray of one color, so you'll see as we go along, but we'll call out all the colors as we go.
Cool.
Up. This is Sorbet Pink Wing.
I love this one.
It's cool. It starts out kind of a bicolor with a pink back and white front, but then it all kind of goes white. It's cool.
Yeah. I also feel like the color variations are really interesting on this one because it's not just a bicolor, like
there's usually two flower petals are one color and then 3 are the other, but this one kind of fades into some of the other petals that are white, and I think it's just like a painted look. It's really pretty. All right, guys, so we've got all of our violas potted up. How many did we end up with? So we made a little wager before we did this, and had we doubled everything, I think the number was somewhere like 288.
Yeah.
And Brian said he thought we would get 230. I said at least 250. Ended up with 275 violas from seed. So if we hadn't thinned them and every cell took, that would have only been 144.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we almost doubled. That's pretty cool.
That's huge. And think of all the money that we saved by growing these ourselves. I mean, all of this beautiful color we can add to the garden. And we didn't, I mean, what did we spend, like 25 bucks on all these?
I think maybe a little bit more than that, but even still, like,
yeah,
it's a good deal, in my opinion.
Yes, it's a great deal. So we got that project all done. You guys stick around because you'll get to see us plant all of those out in the garden. We've got our big annual border in the front that will rip the petunias out, and we'll be adding these in. We have all these great spots in the back garden that we'll be adding them in, so I think that's gonna be super fun.
So the next step is gonna be, we're gonna water these in today with like a light mist, and then I'm gonna keep doing fertilizer. I think we're gonna try to push it and do twice a week now with the Espoma grow.
Yep.
And then hopefully in a couple of weeks, they'll be ready to plant out before we go on a big trip at the end of the month.
Yes.
So we have a lot of work to do before we can get to vacation.
Yes, but we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be really fun. Honestly, we were just talking about the cool down in temperatures. It makes me wanna get right back out into the garden, and something about the heat just makes us retreat back inside, and I feel like our time in the garden has returned.
The heat takes it out of you. Like I couldn't be bothered.
It really does. We've got all of our grass seed coming up, which we're super excited about. So all the grass in the yard is gonna look super pretty over winter. We have fescue, so it'll stay green and thick all winter long. And we've got our table. So I feel like that's all for today.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you aren't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you get notified about all of our content. From our garden to yours, we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.